This is the story of Nicodemus, recorded for us in John chapter 3. The setting is Jerusalem, the holy city, where the brightest and best of Judaism's religion lived, studied, and taught. Here were the scholars and masters who knew the Torah backwards and forwards. That's a joke, because Hebrew reads right to left. We in English read left to right. So they knew the Torah backwards. Never mind. There was this prominent Pharisee named Nicodemus. He was educated, powerful, respected, orthodox, theologically trained, and a member of the Jewish ruling council. He's a leader of his nation. He came to Jesus in the cover of night and starts by saying, "Teacher, sir, it's obvious you have some vital connection with God. Nobody even dreams of doing the unbelievable things you are doing unless there was a God and he was active in you." So can you read between the lines here? He's saying, I want that connection with God. I think everyone wants that. Whether the unbeliever just wishing it were true in one sense, and the believer just wanting more of God's presence, more of the immediacy of the relationship. Maybe you're an unbeliever. Wouldn't you love to find out for sure whether God is there or not? And if he is there, for sure to know what he's like? And maybe you're a believer. Wouldn't you love to know God's presence in a personal, a daily, experiential way? You see, no matter who you are and what you believe, I think you want to listen in on this conversation that Nicodemus is having with Jesus. Whatever it is that Jesus has, you want it. And remember that Nicodemus knew everything about the Bible at the time that there was to know. But he is feeling somehow that something is still missing. So Jesus, in response to him, goes right for the core. He said, your education and your social power don't matter. These won't make the connection that you're after. You need a new nature. You see, Nick thinks that because he's a good Jew, that's good enough. And he's a top drawer member of Jewish society. Jesus says, nope. Were you baptized when you were young? Those who are listening to me, were you baptized when you were young? Are you a religious person? Are you a good person? None of these will do it for you, meaning connect you with God. None of them connect you with God. You want to listen to where Jesus is heading with this conversation. So Jesus said, if you want to connect with God, you need a new nature. The words Jesus uses are born anew, born again, born from on high. You see, God isn't out to reform your life, but to give you a new one. He doesn't want to make you good. He wants to make you holy. So Nicodemus misinterprets what Jesus said when he said, you have to be born again. And he says, whoa, Jesus, I can't go back into the womb. Nick is used to thinking in certain patterns, and Jesus is taking him outside of those patterns. He failed to grasp that Jesus was talking about a new spiritual life with a new nature. So Jesus comes right back with, I'm talking about spiritual life here, your spiritual nature. Nothing of your natural-born human nature can make the connection with God. The question isn't whether you are good or bad, whether you're educated or not, whether even you are religious or not. What matters is whether you have a sin nature or God's nature. There's no other way. It's all internal, and there's nothing that can be proved scientifically about this. even though it's as real as anything else. The scientific method, as fabulous as it is, can only take you so far. Jesus is saying, I'm talking about deeper things. So Nicodemus admits, dude, you're losing me. Okay, that's a loose translation. Jesus chides him gently, but you're a scholar of the Torah and a religious leader of the people. Now here we have a case in point that intelligence and education don't necessarily give people understanding. And they don't give people a connection with God. Lots of people are religious, lots of people are intelligent, lots are educated, but Jesus would comment, when it comes to your spiritual life, so what? Jesus continues, people who have this spiritual nature know what I'm talking about and have explained it over and over. These mysteries have been made known before, but you reject it. How can I make this clear to you? Let's try this. A person can only know about spiritual things if they've experienced them. A person can only truly know about God if he truly knows God. A person can only explain to you about heaven if he's already been there and then comes here to talk to you about it. Do you remember the story in Numbers 21 where the snakes were sent by God to judge the people for their sins? Of course you do. You're a scholar of the scriptures, Jesus says to Nicodemus. The symbol of their sin and judgment was hung high for all to see, and whoever looked at it was saved from death. Do you remember that story? Jesus said to Nicodemus. That story is really about me. One day I will be lifted up, and God will judge the sins of this world on me, and everyone who comes to me for a new nature will live.